I have an article here from ZeroHedge.com. The entire journalism industry is in freefall. Taylor Lorenz vlogs the death of mainstream media as BuzzFeed Insider and Vice jettison assets. Corporate media is on life support, driven to cut costs by sagging ad revenues and waning appetite for propaganda. Layoffs and restructurings are happening all over. LA Times laid off 120 employees. And BuzzFeed and Vice Media. BuzzFeed, which has lost over 97% of its value since going public in 2021, just a handful of years ago, is looking to sell its food sites Tasty and We Feast, while Fortress Investment Group, which took over Vice in bankruptcy last year, looking to sell its Refinery 29 women's lifestyle site. Vice notably bought Refinery 29 for $400 million in 2019, while Tasty was an attempt by BuzzFeed to generate revenue streams beyond advertising with direct sales of kitchenware. The outlets joined Jezebel, which has been shuttered which was shuttered in November by Geo Media amid corporate layoffs, Business Insider, which is now cutting 8% of its staff. Time magazine also laid off 30 people this week. In 2023, there were over 30,000 workers laid off by media companies. It's the largest number of cuts in employment since 2020 when COVID-19. Then they get into Taylor Lorenz. She's a complete jackass. Anyway, she talks about months and months of layoffs in the media industry. It's basically a free fall. It's not just digital media sites. Local news has been obliterated. Newspaper industry is cratering. Radio is essentially dead. Gee, I wonder why. Despite her claims that she's a grassroots reporter that worked her way up from independent media into the halls of establishment journalism, Taylor Lorenz represents the quintessential media spin doctor. She's notorious for her consistent and often ludicrous defense of the Biden administration. There's some links that you could follow on this stuff if you want to, but I mean, if you don't know Taylor Lorenz, basically she's an idiot. She's a jackass. Anyway, in a 2022 Pew Research poll of U.S. mainstream journalists of all ages, over 55% said that they don't believe all sides of any given story deserve equal coverage. The youngest journalists were the worst, with 63% saying they did not agree with equal coverage. Lorenz reflects this very statement as she rolls her eyes at the notion of objectivity in news writing. In a similar poll, over 76% of the general public said they want equal coverage of all sides by the media. That looks like a huge discrepancy, right? But anyway, and it goes on and talks some more about Lorenz and just the stupidity, TikTok journalism, all that kind of stuff. That's basically what she is. It's not surprising to hear people inside the news media talking about, well, I don't care about all sides because then you're validating, you're platforming someone's, ist and phobes and all that kind of stuff. You're validating, you're platforming these racists, these homophobes, these on and on, Islamophobes, all that kind of. They always trot that shit out. But it's also not surprising. I guess in a way, it's a little surprising that 76% number isn't higher. Because to be honest, I would imagine I don't know anyone who doesn't want equal coverage of all sides by the media. That's why trust in journalism is so low. I mean, like, seriously, you could probably argue convincingly, in my opinion, that just about anything is looked upon more fondly than journalism in this country. The mainstream media, in all aspects, even stuff like sports and stuff, is so biased, so full of garbage that you just roll your eyes, throw up your hands, and you either change the channel, go to a different site, except whatever it is. You get away from it because it's complete garbage, and it happens on all sides. It happens from like obviously Fox News. They're only going to tell you the right leaning stuff, but then you got MSNBC, CNN. The majority of mainstream is left, and they're only going to tell you the left side. They're going to criticize anything on the right. Fox News is different. You've got a couple other places, but by and large, it's very much got a liberal bias. But even the ones that have a conservative bias, they don't give you all sides of the story, and that's what most people want. We just want consistency. We don't want a bunch of just, quite frankly, bullshit. Quit trying to bullshit us. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and end this here because I'm starting to ramble a little bit, but it's just very, very weird that those numbers aren't a little higher. Like 55% of the journalists said they don't believe all sides of a story given story deserve equal coverage. Seems like that number should be a lot higher, to be honest, the way that a lot of these idiots work. 76% said they want equal coverage of all sides by the media, of the general public. I think that number should be a hell of a lot higher. It should be 96%. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Anyway, I'll link this stuff in the description box if you want to read it for yourself.